Hi everyone, I'm going to make something from my tea towel. So, wonder if you know what I'm making. Do you know what it is? Know what it is? So I've rolled two ends and then I'm going to turn it over like that. I'm going to grab these two ends and then grab these two corners and then pull it. What is it? What is it? It's a chicken. Is it alive or dead? It's a dead chicken. What would make it alive? What would make it alive, do you think? I think Pippin thinks that that something that would make a chicken alive is if it chirped, if it made a noise. So I've got a cup here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a hole in the center of it. Make it a big hole like that. Can you see that? Make it a hole in the middle, enough so that you can put some wool in it. And so I'm going to tie one end of the wool to the paper clip and then thread the other end. I bend it over so that I've got a clean edge and poke it through the hole. Now here's one I've prepared earlier, because it took me a long time to get it threaded through the hole. So I've got the red wool and it's connected to the paper clip, and then I've threaded it through. Okay, this is our chicken. So give the chicken some eyes and a beak. There we go. Eyes and a beak. And then what you do is you get some wet cloth and hold on to the wool, and then short. Pippi's wondering what on earth that chicken's doing. It talks. So is this chicken alive? No. What would make it alive? If we put feathers on it? No. If it laid eggs? No. It has to be breathing, doesn't it? It has to be breathing, and a chicken laying real eggs would be proof that it's alive, wouldn't it? Well, do you know what? In James talks about dead and alive things, but he's not talking about chickens. He's talking about our faith. Our faith can be dead or alive. It doesn't breathe. So what does he mean by that? Well, I could say I trust in Jesus and I believe in Jesus. And then I don't do anything about it. That's a dead faith. So, for example, if I said I am a very good lifesaver, I know how to use CPR. That's when you resuscitate someone. Now, if someone was in trouble and they needed CPR, me just standing there going, well, I can do CPR, that won't mean anything, will it? That person will still die. I have to do something to show that I know CPR. So in the Bible, James tells us that there's some examples of people in the Bible that showed their faith. They showed that their faith was an alive faith. So the first person James talks about is Abraham. Now, God promised Abraham 3 things. Do you remember? Land, family, and a blessing. And if Abraham did nothing about it, you wouldn't have known that he trusted in Jesus. But because he packed up his belongings and took Sarah, his wife, and they left to a country that the land that they knew nothing about. But they trusted God enough to just go where he told them to go. That's showing his faith in action. Another person in the Bible that James talks about is Rahab. Rahab was a lady, but she wasn't even one of God's chosen people. She wasn't an Israelite. She lived in the city of Jericho. And before the Israelites came into their promised land, Joshua, the leader, he sent 2 spies to go and check out Jericho to see what it was like. It was a big city with a wall all the way around it. And he knew that God was going to give him this land, but he wanted 2 spies to check it out. So when the 2 spies came sneaking into Jericho, the king of Jericho heard that there was some spies from the Israelites sneaking in to check it out. So he went looking for them. And this lady, Rahab, she believed that God was the one and only God. And she helped those 2 spies. She said, "Quick, hide under here on my roof, and I'll talk." And when the guards came to see if she had seen the spies, she said, "Oh yes, I saw them, but I think they've left." And she sent the guards off into to the opposite end, so that the 2 spies could safely return back to Joshua. And she said, "I know that your God is the one and only God. I know that he's the most powerful. I know that he has created everything, and I want your God to keep me safe." And that's what happened, because the spies said, "Well, you stay in your house with a red rope hanging out your window, and we will know that the people in that house are to be saved." And that's what happened. Rahab was saved because she stayed in her house with the red rope out her window, and everyone that was staying with her in her house was safe. But everyone else, when the Israelites came to take over Jericho, they were all destroyed. Rahab ended up being in Jesus's family line because she had faith. She believed in God. So in our Zoom meeting, we're going to be looking at whether a faith is dead or whether it's alive. And if you're not joining us for Zoom, there'll be some colouring sheets to do in your email box. So I'll see you next week in real life, because we're having live log on at church at 9:30 or on Zoom in the afternoon, or you can watch our video for next week. All right, see you guys.